Now, I know this might come as a really big shock. I'm a big fan of numbers. Holy cow, right? Who'd have thought? Hopefully, if you're new around here, maybe that is a shock. But if you've been around the block a couple times with us here at SSFTG and the Woodhood here, I'm a big fan of numbers. And statistics, when we're talking about different areas, are a huge aspect. And they can be kind of intimidating because there's so much happening. So how can we navigate the statistics page and all of these different pieces of information so that we can make the best decisions for our investments? Hey there, John Henry here, SSFTG. Welcome to the video. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome my friend. I hope to earn your like and subscription today. Now, the statistics page can give us a lot of information, but like I said, it can be kind of overwhelming. These are the things that I like looking at personally. There's not a right answer or a wrong answer to this. It's however you like using it, right? But for me, this is how I like utilizing the tools that we have at upxland.me. Now, here's the cool thing about the statistics page, because although, yes, we can look at collections and all that fun stuff, you can look at neighborhoods as well. And one of the things, of course, that I'm a pretty big fan of would be the Woodhood. What a shock. So let's focus in on specifically that area, and we'll just use that as an example going forward for this, so we can kind of see how I like using this. Now, in terms of this area, Sherwood Forest in Detroit, we've got 514 total properties, the floor price $77,000 in UPX, $65 in USD, all of that fun info. But if we go down, what are we seeing out of all of this info? Well, this is where we can have some fun. This is where the statistics page can really kind of give us an edge as far as market timing and finding our entries. Now, I know I'm kind of utilizing trading terminology for this, but it's kind of similar. The aspect remains the same here. If we're looking at this, first off, I want to see how many properties are actually for sale. There are no properties that are unminted here. So as far as unminted properties, that doesn't really matter. In some areas, that is definitely going to have an impact, but unminted properties should always be going down, at least to a degree. So I don't really look at the unminted properties or any of that because, well, that should only be doing one thing. I want to see how many properties are actually for sale. How many people are getting rid of their properties? How many people are hanging on to them? And as an example, in the Woodhood, we had a really strong decline all the way down to where there were only 23 properties for sale. People started realizing that they had, holy cow, a lot of value, and they started selling their properties on up. This is what we were talking about in some of the videos a few months ago. Those initial sales will start hitting the market. As they hit the market, they start getting gobbled up, and now we are seeing the decline back down to where there are only 36 properties available again. This is a normal ebb and flow of things, but this is showing that there is a good relative strength behind the market. It's going down. People don't want to get rid of their properties, and we can see it reflected. Now, a few other factors that we want to take into account. The floor price, right? What has the floor price been doing? In UPX, we had an incredibly sharp increase once we started talking about the Woodhood node and all of that fun stuff. We jumped from the 40,000 area all the way up to around 120,000. And then we had that increase in those new sellers, right? Those new people coming into the market. And as they overlap each other, we have a decrease in price. And look where we are now. It seems like we're finding a nice little base for the market to start rebounding back up. Now, if we're looking at the overall markup, because markup is an incredibly important aspect of your overall investment or trade, as it were, we need to make sure that we're getting good value, or at least the best value possible. And the lowest markup has been around 509%. So that's on the UPX side of things. You can break down the USD side as well, but that's kind of generally what I'm looking at for these different areas. Now, if we were to look at a collection, maybe I've been waiting to get into a really good collection in Nashville, or maybe I wanted to get my Parkwood collection back again, right? So let's look at Nashville, and we'll go over into the collections into Parkwood, and we'll see what the Parkwood side of things is doing. Now, in this case, the Parkwood collection does have properties, I believe, that are unminted. So if we look at unminted properties, again, we should see this steadily working its way down until there aren't any more left. And currently, there's 660? Yeah, 660 properties left to be minted in the collection. So if I wanted to see, like, well, okay, what am I going to have to worry about here? That's how many properties I've got left until there aren't any more. But I'm more interested in how many properties are actually for sale. And this is interesting because as they get minted, we're not seeing people sell them. So this is kind of an interesting chart here because this is showing us that people are going here, minting them, adding them to their collections and then leaving. They're not selling them or getting rid of them. They're holding on to them basically indefinitely. Nobody's getting rid of them. If we look at how many have been owned, we can see this. It just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. So that's kind of what people have been using the Parkwood collection for. And then, of course, it's always really fun to go into those hyper-established markets like Manhattan, the Harlem collection as an example, and looking at what's going on here. Obviously, there aren't any properties unminted there, so we don't have to really worry about those. But how many properties are for sale? And here we can see, all of a sudden now, there is a drastic increase in the amount of properties for sale, different from what we've been looking at. If I wanted to look for an area of value, this might actually be kind of concerning. Why are more people offloading their Manhattan properties? Let's look at the overall pricing of things. First off, the floor price has been going down. And it's been going steadily down from 170,000 all the way down to 94,990. And the same can be said on the USD floor, dropping all the way from the highs at around 155 to where it is now at 66. So Manhattan, from a value perspective, looks like it's getting offloaded. Right? That's what we can see. An increase in the amount of properties for sale and a decrease in the amount of price. What a shock. Everybody's trying to jump in front of one another to get theirs sold first. And it doesn't look like it's found the floor yet. So the statistics page is something that I am a very big fan of and something that I think everybody should utilize at least a little bit and look at it through a common sense scope. I know we were joking about common sense not being so common, but that's one of the things here where this kind of tells us there's more properties for sale. The price is going down. That's supply and demand, right? That's kind of how that works. So as far as the supply demand curve is concerned, you're seeing it play out even in the metaverse in Upland, whether they really wanted it to or not. You gotta love economics, or maybe hate them. It's a love-hate relationship with economics. I'm a big fan of numbers. Other people might not be a big fan, but these are really, really important statistics that we want to keep an eye on if we want our wisest decisions to be made. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those down below in the comments. I always love hearing from you. And until the next one, we'll see you all in the metaverse. Thanks for watching.